Art is too important not to share. Welcome to the Allie and Callie Artcast.
Hi, I'm Allie.
And I'm Callie, and we're with the Coeur d'Alene Arts and Culture Alliance. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
Oh my gosh.
We're back and
we're
goofy as ever.
Yeah, boy, that is the truth. I think I'm so tired because I'm almost 60. I'm so tired of
How tired are you?
I'm so tired I can barely find words. It's hard. So right now, finishing one show and then having auditions for Singing in the Rain.
Oh, wow.
And then...
Which you're directing.
I'm directing with Jen Kleinkopf.
Right.
And...
but you're not in it. You're just
not
directing.
in it.
Okay.
Nope. Just directing.
We were just talking about directing and being in it at the same time. That
to me is
insane.
That's a crazy person. Why?
Right.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Right.
It's enough to do one and not do both. And so just doing that, and then I'm doing the stage reading of Steel Magnolias. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Steel Magnolias, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And it's just go, go, go. And we've got the Speakeasy.
Oh, and the Speakeasy. Oh, my God. We cannot forget about the Speakeasy.
So let's talk about the Speakeasy.
Yes, the Speakeasy is May 25th. In a secret location.
It's going to be so fun. We want everybody to come dressed up in the 1920s style.
Yep.
We're going to
get your ticket and you go to the Berkshire Hathaway, which is the little place in Riverstone. You start out there, and once you get there and turn your ticket in to the bouncer, they'll give you the password and instructions. But basically the first social hour is there, and then you'll get instructions on where to go from there.
And then the fun begins. And more fun. Yeah. Because we can have drinks and appetizers at the first place, and then there'll be more at the next place.
Right.
With music and gambling and silent auctions and
live
auctions and dancing and drinking and oh my gosh, so much
just
fun.
General speakeasy debauchery.
Yes. And it's our fundraiser, so we really want to see a lot of people there.
Yes, we do.
And it's just going to be a beautiful night. So we're excited about that.
I know. And you get your tickets online at artsandculturecda.org/speakeasy.
Or you can get them at the chamber.
Or you can go bypass getting them online and paying the online ticketing fees.
There's a little fee.
And just go to the chamber and get your tickets at the chamber.
And how much are tickets, Allie?
Tickets are $75 per person. If you are an Arts and Culture Alliance member, and if you're not a member, they're $80 a person.
But you can become a member for $40.
$40 a year is
nothing. Yep. And you know what you do? You help provide all these free programs that we have.
Right.
Riverstone concerts, art walk, music for the wise, studio tour, which is in August.
Kids Draw Architecture.
All our programs are free. So you're supporting the community with your $40.
That's right.
That's what, 3 Starbucks coffees?
Yeah. Probably.
So support the arts in your community.
Support the arts because the arts are important.
And we will, we'll personally thank you.
Yes, we will.
Allie and Callie.
We'll be in our really cute little outfits.
That's right. We're excited.
The Speakeasy.
We're going to be
great band
dressed to the bee's knees.
The bee's knees. I forgot what my
Trixie. What
was my name last year?
I can't remember.
I can't either.
That was a year ago. I can't remember.
I know. I can't.
I don't remember
anything.
Yesterday.
I know because I'm over 60.
We have a theme going. Yeah.
Anyway, well, we're excited to have Duncan Menzies here.
Yes.
Hello,
Duncan.
Yeah, I wanted to say things, but I also wanted to stay quiet. The surprise.
But that's okay.
Build
You're
anticipation.
gonna save it. Save some stuff. Well, Duncan, I've known Duncan. I'm trying to think the first time we worked together. Duncan, let's say Duncan is an actor, a singer, performer, artist, producer, Tell us more, Duncan.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I'm discovering new things all the time.
Yeah, he does a lot.
And that's great. I love that.
You're a Coeur d'Alene native, right?
I was born in Snohomish, Washington, but raised and spent most of my life in Coeur d'Alene.
Right. Okay. And so you, I'm trying to remember how we met.
Was it Falsettos?
It could have been Falsettos.
Ooh.
Yes, which was a great show at Lake City Playhouse, which is
2017 or 2016.
Could have been.
Yeah.
I don't know the years. I'm almost 60. It was a lovely show, though. It was beautiful.
So
and
good. That show changed my life.
That's a beautiful
I think about
show.
it very often.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Brandon Michael and Duncan and
Amy DeRazzi.
And
Alyssa.
Hershey and Kyle. I can't remember Kyle's last name.
Somebody.
Yeah.
But it was beautiful.
And Jad Davis.
And
oh yeah, Jad Davis.
Jad,
thought of Jad for a long time.
His wife directed it. I am blanking on
Casey.
names.
Oh, yeah,
Casey Davis. Yes.
Oh yeah.
And Jenny Shotwell. The whole gang.
Yeah,
It was the dream team. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your background and your passions and what led you to here.
Cool. Well, my background started in opera. I tell people that I went to my first opera when I was in 6th grade, so 12 years old. I saw the Notes de Figaro, the Marriage of Figaro by Mozart, and I was very captivated by the human body, the capability to create the sound, and me as a 12-year-old feeling all these emotions but not understanding any of the words. And so that started my curiosity with that. And I was my parents, we lived 45 minutes away from Coeur d'Alene, but I go to school in Coeur d'Alene. My father was a janitor, so I'd stay at the school till 10 or 11 at night, and with nothing to do but be in a practice room. And so it was just kind of my own lonely playground for me as a little kid to experiment with the voice and dance. I remember moments of dancing to Mozart's Requiem in the choir room at 9 p.m. at night, and I was just this really, really weird, socially awkward child, adolescent, teenager, young adult, still now. And so I started with that, and then went to school for vocal performance, figure out that I didn't want anything to do with opera after that.
You're and that's enough.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
All this structure
I learned some stuff.
and insecurities and very much worried about external things rather than internal things. And then studied abroad and found myself again.
Where'd you go?
I studied in France for a semester in Strasbourg, which is
fun.
considered the second home of the UN, so it's kind of a really international city, and very beautiful. And it was just that was a personal, artistic, spiritual reset on life, where I could go into a space where nobody knew me, nobody knew what I could or could not do, and I could just be myself again, or find out who I am without this thing that I did, the voice. And that was really beautiful and wonderful, and found out that oh wow, there's life living. I've spent so much time being so technical, being so in my head about being perfect, that other people are having a life. And that I should also start having a life. And so that was my first lesson that I keep on relearning, is that. And so I came back and started studying with Jad Davis, and he kind of nudged me more into musical theater, and starting to do more musical theater things. And I stayed with him for a year and a half, and then moved to Seattle, where I did more theater. That's a really, really crazy story. Maybe I'll tell that really shortly. Is that I go through periods in my life where nothing happens, and then times where everything happens all at once. And one of those was moving to Seattle. I went to Theater Puget Sound, which is all general auditions. So instead of auditioning for one company, you're auditioning for 60 companies.
Oh wow!
Which makes it so nice. And so I did that, then went back for some callbacks, and then went to a coffee shop in between callbacks, and someone recognized me from a headshot and was like, "Hey, is your name Duncan Menzies?" And I was just like, "Yeah, this like first person I meet in Seattle."
Love
and
it.
I was like, "No way, yes it is." And he was just like, "Well, I'm doing this show that is casting for like this, and we request your headshot, but we didn't come in contact with you." And I was just like, "Well, like the only thing's keeping me from moving is housing." So
Yeah.
I want to do community theater stuff if there was housing provided. And he's just like, "Well, I'll provide housing." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And so he called the director, then I met with the director the next day, and she was just like, "If it doesn't work out with housing with this other guy, then I'll provide housing."
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
And so that was like the divine that I was like, I'm supposed to be here. And
Right.
I can't fail. So I moved into that woman's house 2 weeks later, and ended up living with her for a year and a half.
Oh, wow.
And kind of, she was just like a second parent, but like really close friend, and kind of helped her do shows on the island, on Bainbridge Island, and then I'd work in Seattle. And then did that for like almost 3 years. And then COVID hit, and all my jobs, all my gigs that I had,
That
going
dang
on.
COVID.
Yeah. I was like in a relationship. I had moved everything to storage because I was going to travel for work. And then everything shut down. I was just like, "Oh, I'm homeless, jobless.
Yeah.
I guess I'm moving back into my parents' office." And so I did that, and it was like the best. Also, like another like artistic, spiritual, personal like reset on life. And that's when I started doing more of my own like personal projects and things that I've in the past. My like own artistic personal stuff was in writing. So when I was abroad, I did blog posts, or I do other creative writing. Outside of that, it was just like performance or doing somebody else's project, somebody else's like musical. And then during COVID, it was just like, why am I doing somebody else's project outside of myself when there's other stuff inside that I can be nurturing, fostering, developing?
Right.
And so that's when I started doing more personal projects. Which I guess maybe transition
into the Bedsheet Chronicles? Yes.
Into the Bedsheet Chronicles.
Hey y'all, it's Jason from Tubbs Coffee Roasters. We are North Idaho's specialty coffee roaster. We are homegrown and we are local. We love coffee and we love our community, especially Allie and Callie and ArtCast. We have a retail space in our roastery in Hayden, and we can also be found on the shelves at Super One and Yolks. And if you like to buy coffee online, we do offer subscriptions. You can find us at tubbscoffeeroasters.com. Support arts and culture and your local roaster. That's all.
Okay.
So we're at the Bedsheet Chronicles. So explain to those who don't know
Let's
what
set the bed.
exactly.
Let's
set the bed.
Make the bed.
Make the bed and tell us what that's all about.
Yeah. So, well, Callie's part of this story. So it started when I was living in Seattle. There's this thing called the Seattle Freeze, which is just that it's hard to make connections with people or lasting friendships with people because of this like Pacific Northwest passive aggressive temperament that exists that that it doesn't really exist, I feel like, in Coeur d'Alene, but maybe people are too nice in a way that's like the like passively nice.
Yeah.
And so the project was like, how can I create more engaging, like deeper connections with people? And so the process is just meeting with people in the community, our friends, and posing the question, what do you cover in life? And then they answer it, and then they give me a bed sheet, and then we take a selfie, and then I use that to create these like lamp structures, all kind of like exploring what we cover in life, society, religion, whatever, fill in the blank. And so that had been put on the burner the last 2 years. And then when COVID happened, it was just like, well, I have nothing but time and I'm getting unemployment. So in my mind, I was like, I'm being paid a lot of money to work on this project. And it just seemed to work. Like things just, connections sort of happened. And my Callie's husband sent a message on Facebook that he wanted to hire displaced actors to put cedar siding on Blair Williams, the owner of the Art Spirit Gallery's shed.
That's right. That's right.
That shed changed my life forever.
That's true. It's a nice shed.
It's a really nice shed. Her she shed. She has a wall of like really nice mugs in there. Anyway, so it was me, Jesse Hampsh, and Stu, and he had just been moved back from New York, where he was doing music and composing and stuff. And so we were just like, it was like therapy putting cedar on the shed, because I didn't have a job, I didn't know what was going on in life, I didn't know what was happening, and Blair would sit us down for like lunches around her picnic table and be like, what do you guys want to do? Like, what are you guys passionate about? Like, what, if you had all of the resources, could you do it here in Coeur d'Alene and not have to move somewhere else? And so then I started talking about the Bedsheet Chronicles and other performance projects I wanted to work on. And Stu has, he calls it his studio. Because he does lots of woodworking, and he was getting into butcher blocks. And he has a real passion for teaching people and like just teaching people and giving people opportunity. I mean, and so he was just like, I would not love nothing else than to teach you some woodworking. He was thinking like, if he had all the resources and didn't have to work and stuff, he would like to like teach.
That's what
young
he would
people.
want to do.
Right. Totally. He'd just be in his shop all day. Totally.
And
I believe that.
And so that was great, because I just had this, I had never done woodworking before, and had just these ideas that I wanted to create lamps with this Bedsheet Chronicles. And so that summer, I would just come over and work in the shop. And that was also like therapy in a sense too. Me and Stu like just talked about life and trials and culture and all the upheaval that was happening that summer, and it was kind of just like a space to like disconnect from what was happening on the outside world. And he really likes listening to like 80s rock music and 80s movies, so that was like always being played on the screen. That's what I remember.
It's so true.
And then Callie has her own she shed, where she was exploring all of her like resin work and that sort of stuff. So that was really lovely. And then at the end of the summer, this is like this is just a fun story to recount, not necessarily on what happened with the Bedsheet Chronicles, but this is the fun stuff. Who cares about the actual product?
We both have one.
I know.
Yeah.
We both have lamps.
Yeah, which is so lovely. At the end of the summer, I ended up like moving in with Jesse and then somebody from high school, and we moved into this space that it was like 2,400 square feet, so I had space to store lamps, which was like an unexpected necessity that I need doing this project, because at the beginning I want to make big, huge lamps that are like 7 feet tall and like 2 foot squares. And then I just started doing it more and more, and I got a grant, and I realized that like my room was full of like 30 lamps.
Wow.
Literally. And then connected with the Jacqueline Arts Cultural Center in Post Falls, and did an exhibit there last January.
Yeah.
And that was really, really cool. So I guess going back to the concept.
It was a really cool exhibit.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was such a nerve-wracking but most fulfilling project, I think I want to continue doing. Just because it was a cool alchemization of things that I'm fascinated with, and an intersection of story, an aspect that I didn't realize doing the project was me processing my own relationship with my mother and my parents. A lot of the people who wanted to do the interview were middle-aged women.
And
That's interesting.
we need to talk.
Yeah, we have a lot of things to uncover. Someone's going to listen to me.
Let's sit down. Let's
How long
talk.
do you have?
Right? That's great.
But a lot of the things that they would talk about was their relationship with their children and covering up how they feel and how they don't want to push their children farther away by expressing their feelings because of how close they feel towards them. And so that was really cool, because hearing people talk, you can't help but see your own story or put your own story through their words.
Right.
And so that was really beautiful. And so part of that installation was I had 3 videos projected on a screen, and one of them was a dramatized story of my mother's coming of age.
Oh, wow.
And her uncovering the things from her own childhood through being in a relationship and experiencing love and having a safe space to bring those things to the forefront.
Right.
Which also for me is a reflection on if I had the resources just to create art, then it's I'd want to create spaces, those safe womb type spaces for people to uncover and allow those vulnerabilities and stuff to come into the light. Because once it's in the light, then it's then there's freedom and liberation and creativity, exploration that's on the other side of that. So this project was a lot of that for me personally. Some themes of bed sheets that I think is really cool is in Celtic or Islamic traditions, the rendering of garments in grieving, they would tear garments and yell and scream. And so the lamps, there was hundreds and hundreds of these strips of bed sheets that I'm ripping.
Right.
And this cathartic. That was really cool for me. I think that should be a performance art piece. Just just sitting on a stage ripping sheets. That'd be fun. And another aspect is I'm really fascinated with Celtic spirituality and connection with nature. And there's this legend of the Clootie Well in Scotland, which is this holy trees next to holy wells. And so legend has it that someone would take the cloth of an ill person and go to these holy places, make prayer, dip it into the holy well, and then tie it to the tree.
Oh, wow.
And so there's these tapestries of decaying fabric. And then it's been since then just going with an intention or a wish and doing the same thing. And so I feel connected to that. It's a prayer, a wish, an intention for something else. So there's all these personal levels of meaning that mean something to me or mean something to how I share it with people. But looking at the pieces, you probably, it's just a lamp.
But there's a story.
But there's a story to it, and the lamps, even if you don't know the story, I thought they were beautiful.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. And there were so many different shapes and sizes, and
different sheets.
You still have some down at the Human Rights Education Institute.
I do.
too.
Yeah. Jeanette Laster's been very gracious with letting me keep them there.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So,
yeah.
And
then you also have now explained Drawn Together Arts.
Cool. Well, going back to the shed. So Blair Williams Shed. Over those lunches, when she talked about, like, how can I provide resources so that you can do what you want here and not go into a different city? And I was just like, some projects that were really fulfilling in Seattle were like the small cabarets done in like a church basement are in this, like, in the middle of Bainbridge Island, like, theater that's like tucked away in the woods that are just like passion projects. And one of them specifically was I was doing this operetta in Leavenworth, and I would carpool with some singers from Seattle, and on the rides back and forth we would talk about like what we're passionate about, like what songs you'd want to do. And we'd also talk about like character analysis, like our characters and like backstory and that kind of stuff. And so we had all these ideas, and we're like, we should make a show like around this.
Right.
And so we're like, why not? And I was just like, I know a producer, and I'm living with this theater family. They'd be happy to. And so we did that. And I remember it was only one weekend, and we had a huge snowstorm that weekend. So,
great.
So it didn't do too well, but it was the most personally gratifying passion project.
And you did that in Seattle at like a little...
We did it on Bainbridge Island.
Oh,
okay.
In a little...
Yeah, it was called Rolling Bay Hall. And so it was enough... It was kind of like probably like a black box theater. You set up the stage, you could do it like in any configuration, and they had like rigging for lights and stuff, but it only sat like maybe 60.
Right.
Yeah. So it was just fun. So I told her that, and she was just like, well, I have this like space, so if you ever want to do anything, it's yours. And I was just like, yes, absolutely. Like, and drafted like a mission statement and all this stuff. And like sat her down at breakfast like a month later, and I was just like, this is the season for the next year.
Got it all worked
This is our first show. And so Drawn Together Arts is like it's doing stage readings and devised cabarets at the intersection of fine arts. So usually we try to find shows that like intersect fine arts in some way. Like an example of that is Picasso at the La Panagile, which is our first show. It's a play by Steve Martin about Picasso and Einstein being at a bar in Paris, and hilarity ensues. and that one's like a perfect mesh of like a coordinated with what was being shown in the gallery, and so it's like a win-win for both of us.
Right.
And an example of like the devised cabaret was I was doing like a new musical in Seattle 2 summers ago, and some people in the cast I told them about like starting to do shows here, and that I wanted to do more conceptual cabaret stuff, and they're like, well sign me up. Like I didn't even have to ask them. And same thing with the director, David Grumbarkowitz, who's this really quirky, eccentric, like fun director. And so we that production was weird. He was in Texas. Michael, the other actor, was in LA, and then Bobby was in Seattle, so he would Zoom every 2 or 3 weeks. And that process was really cool for me, and the kind of like art stuff that I want to do is we said we want to do a like cabaret around Mother's Day, but we don't want it to be like typical love, like all mushy songs like that you would sing. Like what is our own personal experience with love, and what do we want out of love that's different from for Bobby as like a a woman, I don't know how old she is, an older woman, like looks different than for me, turning 30 and being queer, and which was also different from someone else my age, like living in a different way. And so how do we honestly explore that and then pick songs from that space? And we did lots of like writing and work with that I'm sure didn't even like come through in performance, but the process of doing it is really fulfilling. So and that was like a really special, cool project too.
So what are some of the other shows that you've done for that?
We did Art by Yasmina Riza, which is a French play about a white canvas that cost like 200 grand or 200 francs, 200,000 francs. And so it's like the absurdity of art and conceptual art, and what's the meaning, and so that was done in this space, and then we also did It's a Wonderful Life in last December, and Callie was also in that. It was super fun. We had done that show 5 years ago.
A while ago.
That was cool also for me, of like kind of revisiting a text that, like, reading it, I was reflecting on the person that I was 5 years ago, and how younger me read the script versus how me now. I don't know. Did you have that same like, connection?
Well, actually, I didn't do it the second time. It was Jen.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I just saw you.
I know, you just assume it was me. I couldn't do it, but I so many times that I have done the same role. Later in life, I appreciate things more the older I get. And I have a deeper understanding of almost everything. Because you have more life experience, and you just have, there's just more in your life, and things matter more, and the words have more meaning.
The subtext behind everything is so much.
So I just feel like I don't know if I'm a better actress than I was at 20 than I am at 60, but I feel like I understand it better. So I feel like, ooh, like there are times I know when I'm like, oh, that was pretty good. Well, I'll admit it. Like, I'll know, like, ooh, I was in the pocket. Like, I felt like it. In my 20s, I'm like, I was pretty good. But now it's like when it really clicks, you're like, it's not work. It just comes naturally, and that's when I feel like, ooh, that feels special, and that I feel very lucky. When
I really get it, when it comes easy.
And when it's easy, and it's not work at all. It's just like, and that, because I'm not really doing it for the audience, I'm doing it for me. Which sounds selfish, but it's cathartic for me. Like, especially Still Magnolias is so.
But don't you think doing it for you gets you so into it that you end up benefiting the people that are watching? I feel
think
like
so.
You do.
I mean, it sounds like
because it's real.
When you do it for me, then it gives me permission to experience it for myself.
Right.
I've seen shows when someone's so externalized or so performative, then I feel obligated to have a response. Obligated to clap, obligated to feel like emotional because you're doing something. But if it's from this like compelling space within myself, then it's like then maybe it's compelling for you too.
I feel like that.
It's an interesting space, you know. I think I just appreciate it more now, and especially when you have good material, that it's so much easier. When it's just like well written, it's so easy to
drop it,
to feel it, and just like, wow, the words are there.
Hey ladies, have you heard about NIA yet? Hi, I'm Marilee Wallace, and I'm a proud board member of the Coeur d'Alene Arts and Culture Alliance and owner of NIA. That's short for the North Idaho Alliance. We specialize in leadership development specifically focused in connecting women to programs, workshops, and networking to educate, empower, and enrich their lives. Our goal is to make positive impacts in the community while helping other women in North Idaho succeed. Next up is our annual Onward and Upwards Women's Conference set for May 24th and our new event, Women with Cool Jobs, scheduled for early summer. And then keep a lookout to register for our super popular Women of Impact Leadership Roundtable series. That begins every September. So I hope you'll look us up. We're at thenorthidahoalliance.com. Find us on Facebook or just give us a call, 208-660-1557. Go out and make it an impactful day.
You have another show that's going on right now.
Yes.
In fact, it's this night that this airs.
Yes.
It's at the Art Spirit Gallery. You're doing Steel Magnolias.
Yes.
And Callie's in it.
Yay!
Yeah.
I know. I love this show.
I love this show too. I was first introduced to this show like 7 or 8 years ago when Callie, someone else in the cast, Rennie Yarrow, and Tracy did it at Lake City Playhouse.
Yes.
And that was my first introduction to it.
Yeah.
And it was great and moving. But I listened to it for the first time since then, 2 days ago, and talking about how picking up on different things as a younger man listening to it when I was in earlier 20s to now like a 30 man listening to it. I have a different understanding.
Yeah.
Are the value, the weight of things that are in there, and the value also of like small town connectedness, like moving maybe, well, I mean, the show is not about me at all, but I'll inject myself. I should not be the person talking about Steel Magnolias.
Oh, no, it's fine.
But moving back to Coeur d'Alene, I definitely, like, I moved to Seattle and like was in the pace of that life, and kind of like not really ashamed, but would put Coeur d'Alene under the rug. Like, I didn't want to bring it up to people. I didn't want to have like the conversations that people generally ask when they talk about northern Idaho,
Right.
or Idaho in general.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You come from there.
Yeah. But then moving back here, and it took a while, a few months to like weave back into the community, but then connecting with the gallery and connecting with downtown and like the small businesses and and the arts community is just like one that I really, really adore and love. Sorry, this is turning into a larger tangent. I'm connecting it back to Steel
Totally
Magnolias,
fine.
but the arts community too, of realizing how supportive and open they are. And a side note with that is I started an artist salon 2 years ago at the gallery where we'd meet like once a month, and it was just artists from lots of different backgrounds and disciplines, mediums, and are just starting out or like really professional, and we would just be in a space and talk about process, philosophy, which turned into like the most fulfilling conversations and the most like confidence boosting for an artist, and for me especially with Bedsheet Chronicles, it was something so new, and I'm not a visual artist, that it was like a nice nurturing womb space for me to bring those projects to, which was really lovely. The supporting small town community.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing that back to Steel Magnolias, of like realizing it's about this beauty parlor shop in a southern town where these women know the ins and outs of every detail of each other's lives.
Right.
And all they'll talk about is like, I found this new recipe, or there's a new woman in town, or like all these like, if you were living in a different city, then there would be super trivial, meaningless things. But we need that community in that sense of like sharing day-to-day life with, which is really, I think, the beauty of Coeur d'Alene and smaller towns. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we have some new cast members, Jen Kleinkoff and Cameron Kleinkoff is playing my daughter, which is, she's a wonderful actress. Trigger Weddle is playing Weezer this time.
It's going to be hilarious.
She will be hilarious. And Deborah Marlowe, she's new to me, and I'm excited to work with her. So all regional actors, and Renee's back, and just excited to do it again.
And Tracy Benson is directing,
yes,
right?
she's back directing again. And, you know, it's a stage reading. It's still... all the words are there. You don't need a set.
Yeah.
You really don't. It's just so well written that
it is.
And people really know the lines. And I'm hoping that if Kristen listens to this, do not speak the lines out loud. Because the last time we did it, she was mouthing the words. And
she was. I was sitting right next to her.
I was like, no. Stop. But it's such a great show, and I'm glad we got the opportunity to do it. And make sure you get tickets.
Yeah.
How do they get tickets?
Yeah,
Duncan?
how do they get tickets?
Yeah, you can get them at www.drawntogetherarts.com, or you can get it the night of.
Night of. Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Nice.
good.
Yeah.
And we have a show tonight and tomorrow.
Right.
So it will be great. So we hope to see you there. And
Yeah.
And I think tickets are $20. That's pretty reasonable.
yes.
Yeah.
Very nice.
For a show.
I think it's going to be pretty unforgettable. I mean, the cast and this I think is going to be like a passion project. I think Callie was the one that brought up the whole project actually, because we were at like a.
I'm like, let's do it again.
Yeah. It was the cast party for It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh yeah.
And which also I love about like I want to do shows for nights like that, when it's just like when you get creative people all together in a room together, then like magic happens. Like not in a sense where there's like insecurities or I want to do this thing or I want this thing to be done, but when you're just like talking ideas, that's where like really cool stuff happens, and or nothing at all.
Yeah.
I think.
But it's fun to have those moments.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
you're like, hey, and look, it's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Kind of like my favorite line from Shakespeare in Love is, "It's a mystery." It's a mystery.
Yeah.
It's a mystery. Yeah.
And it is when you just allow things to happen.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
just do.
Yeah,
And
when
it's
you,
great.
I'm stepping into that more in life. Of that, if you just trust in the world around you, or trust just to show up, then
Yeah.
people show up in the same way,
Right.
and you attract things that you want. So,
Right.
And what else do you have going on past Steel Magnolias? What's next?
well, a lot of things. A lot of.
You're modeling too, still, right?
Sort of modeling. It's more like if a friend has a concept, then I might do a shoot, but not really pursuing things. It's just for fun, the way it should be. Like I was in Palm Springs, and me and a friend just like went in the desert and took some cool shots.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Next is the summer for summer theater. I'm just like helping with sets and decor, and then I'm pending going to clown school in Paris in the fall.
Oh, fun! Okay, I love that. How fun.
So
That was kind of a maniacal laugh.
I know. Yeah.
Scary clown.
Oh boy.
Clown
Yeah.
school is
Yeah, all of a sudden I saw the clown.
Yeah, come out. I know, it's been a recent discovery. Like, I've always been a clown.
Oh, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
how fun.
Oh wow, I can't wait to catch up on that when you're done and back and
Yeah.
can tell us about it.
I know. Yeah.
Why?
gonna be
I
a
wasn't
crazy-
expecting
Yeah,
that.
no.
Nobody
That was a good one.
Oh, you should have seen my dad's face when I told him.
I love it. And now I'm going to clown school.
Okay.
I love it. I love that you keep trying. You do all kinds of things, and I love that you're not limiting yourself to one particular thing, and the fact that you can just travel and do, you're kind of living your best life, Duncan.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I've only got one. So.
That's right.
So why not?
Do it.
I say, why not?
Do it.
I'll end with this and saying that like I had life-changing experiences over the past year, and one of them was this realization that like we're here to make choices, and our choices are only our own. Like we are responsible for our own choices.
Right.
So don't be held back by somebody else's vision of what you should or shouldn't be, because at the end of the day, you're only accountable for your own decisions.
Right.
That's right.
And also that like your choices can inspire
Others.
Choices around you. And and that's all.
That's great.
Those are great words.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Be more creative.
Yes.
Yes, we're all about being more creative.
That's what we like to do. Exactly.
Exactly.
Well,
this is.
this was really fun, Duncan.
I
I'm
know.
so glad you were here, and I'm glad that I get to work with you again and perform with you when I can, and just love watching all the things that you do. It's just exciting.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm so grateful for such a supportive community that's Coeur d'Alene, and you specifically.
Oh,
and
thanks.
Influenced you, and so many people that.
Well,
like,
Stu would love to see you in the shop. If you need some more wood, we still have some.
Great.
I'm pretty sure they have a lot of
Yeah.
Rearranged the studio a little bit.
Oh, again?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, because he has more tools.
I know.
It's all new. Yeah.
They're key. Yeah. There's like more space, and that means more tools to fill that
more
space.
That's right.
Different tools. Yeah. Now I have the tool of my dreams. You know, it always starts out like. I'm like, I thought that last one was the tool. Oh no, this is a different tool of my dreams. I'm like,
it's a game changer.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
Yeah,
It totally is.
Well, thanks so much for visiting with us today.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. You bet.
So look together for DrawnTogetherArts.com. You're on Instagram and all that good stuff. Is it Drawn Together Arts? Or
Drawn Together Arts doesn't have an Instagram.
Yeah.
We do have a Facebook page.
Okay.
But then I have like my own personal Instagram, Facebook page, website.
Look for Duncan.
Awesome.
He might be a clown.
He
might be a clown. Might not be. Who
You know,
knows?
we don't know. He
Keep
could
you on
be
your
in.
toes.
He could be in Paris. He could be in Seattle. He could be in Palm Springs. We don't know.
Surprise.
It's where it should be.
It's
Where
a
in the
mystery.
world? Where in the world is Duncan Menzies?
Duncan Menzies.
I love it though.
Yeah.
But he
I
does
know.
live in Coeur d'Alene, so
Yes.
you might see him around town.
Right.
Say hello,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because we're happy to have him in our community. So.
Shucks.
We
Shucks. All right.
All right. Well, I'm Allie.
And I'm Callie, and whatever you do today, make sure it's creative.
The Allie and Callie Artcast is a program of the Coeur d'Alene Arts and Culture Alliance and is sponsored by NIA, North Idaho Alliance, a woman-based leadership organization designed to inspire, uplift, and impact your community and lives. And Tubbs Coffee Roasters, globally sourced, locally roasted coffee.